Yep.
For later. We are live. Welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot. I'm Darren Miller.
I'm Travis Helwig, and let me just be the first to say here on the post-game show, Minnesota versus Los Angeles Football Club. I'll take it, Darren. I will take it.
I was going to say the same thing. Not so bad. We've been conditioned to take worse.
When you've been living on the Survivor Island for 30 straight days and Jeff Probst offers you rice, boy, does that rice taste good.
Tastes real good. Hunger is the best sauce, Travis.
How you doing, everybody? 1-1 draw we just witnessed up in Minnesota, a place we've learned we've only ever scored 1-1. Like the last 3 times we've played there has been a 1-1 draw, according to the very smart people at Apple TV. Is that true? We've never won there?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever won there. Apple owns all the data, so they must be right.
Mm-hmm.
I not long ago remember some draws that were much more frustrating than this one was. This had some very frustrating moments, and it's clear why it was a draw and not a win. That said, there were things that I think we have been looking for improvements on for a long time that it felt like we got last game, and like didn't seem like a fluke that they came back. It seems like they still have some things figured out that they finally figured out last game.
I think we played great? No. Do I think we played terrible? No. Do I think we were worthy of a draw? Yes. Like there was I would say the first half was very frustrating watching. I mean, Reynoso just played one of the most incredible games of soccer I've ever seen. Just like played unbelievable, like just destroyed everyone on our team. We could our midfield was destroyed, our defense was destroyed. We could do nothing against them.
I wouldn't say Minnesota is going to end up being like they're not they weren't incredibly impressive this game, but like they're with Pookie now, they're going to be way better than their spot on the table right now coming into the season. Like that's a good team.
Is it Pookie? I didn't know how to say it. Is it Pookie?
I think so. Yeah, Pookie.
Biuk. Pookie.
This was the game where Biuk hands the puke baton off to someone else, and now he's free of it.
Yes, this is
an important match.
Yeah, it's like when you make the golem, you have to figure out how to destroy the golem. Tim Morgan says, "Happy foot, we didn't lose. Sad foot, we didn't lose." Michael KB says,
I think the main headline that we're building towards here is this is what a draw is. When I tell my grandkids, when they say, "Grandpa, what's a draw?" I will describe this match.
I put this in the Patreon, but it was like it wasn't the most. We weren't as good as I would like us to be, but I had fun watching that game. It was an enjoyable game because eventful. It was so loose. Yeah. My toilet won't stop running, Darren. I'm going to go turn it off. Hold on. You vamp.
Look, I should clarify my comments from before that it was not the definition of a draw in the sense that it was boring at all. That was I wrote maybe the most notes that game I have all season. It was very up and down. I wonder, Travis, is everyone okay?
What?
Is everyone in your bathroom okay?
We don't like to talk about the people I've chained in my bathroom, Darren. That's for the Patreons only.
Another thing I'm going to have to edit out of the live stream.
Steven Acosta says, "Why doesn't Steve make subs earlier?" I don't know, man. We're not smart enough.
Source for nothing.
I mean, it seems like he has a system where he trusts, it very much, maybe it's strictly during this run of a bunch of games, which we're officially out of. We are done. We've made it to the end. We have 2 weeks off.
This is what the light at the end of the tunnel looks like. As it doesn't feel like light, but this is what we're experiencing right now.
It's like when you get home after a long, on Friday, it was the first day SAG was on the picket line. I was out there for like 5 hours in like the hot sun of Burbank during the heat wave. And when I got home, I just felt as if I was in a coma. And I imagine that's what everyone in LAFC feels. You're just like, well, I guess I'm done for the next 24 hours. I will do nothing.
That's what I don't really work out. But everyone says like it makes you feel really good. And anytime I ever have worked out or run or anything like that, I finish and I'm like, this doesn't feel like good. But I guess I did something good.
You got to work at it. You got to get there,
Well,
go slower at first. Okay.
Trust me, go slow.
Before we bring on a very special caller in the chat, I have a few happy foots that I want to say. First off, happy foot, Biuk, my favorite player, one of my favorite players on this team, has consistently been my favorite player on this team. Stipe Biuk, a beautiful assist, just an absolutely beautiful assist from Stipe. Biuk.
It's been like all season with that guy. He just knows what he's doing.
I can't tell you how much faith I've had in him, and it feels so good to finally see everyone jump on the Stipe Biuk bandwagon. What an incredible player he's been.
I want to say officially, I don't think we should be mad about people jumping on the bandwagon like this late in the game.
Yeah, come on.
I think it's a great thing. I think it's fine. I mean, he's playing great, and we should all be excited about it.
And I want to say, if someone didn't like him before and now they like him, it's not because they hate Eastern European people. It's just because
that's probably also true.
It's just because maybe they're not as enlightened as we are, but we've loved Stipe Biuk. We never doubted Stipe Biuk. And having said that, happy foot, I'd like to welcome to the show, enemy of the foot, Jeff Talk. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us.
I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
A beautiful shirt you're wearing, let me say.
Thank you. Thank you. I regret putting it on after that fucking display I just heard from Travis. You know what I mean? I'd like my money back for this spectacular shirt. I think this is one of one. This is one of one, right? I don't think anybody's allowed to buy this anymore since the don't. Really?
It's still for sale, but it doesn't make sense anymore. We can take it off if you want it to be one of one.
Yeah, for the listener, this is the part of our history Dole Whip shirt, which I also found hilarious because we didn't sell Dole Whip anymore, and then we all collectively found out that we do actually sell Dole Whip. It's really great that you guys have kind of like taken this Remember the Titans-esque journey on race with Eastern Europeans. And now accepted Stipe Biuk as a full human being. I mean, it's just because he's good at sports. Definitely no weird undertones there at all whatsoever.
Wow.
But yeah,
it's like an 8 maybe.
That's an 8. All right. Anyways, I think here's what I'll say. I'm very happy you guys are in. He's a frustrating guy in this sense that the first 10 minutes he just got smoked by Reynoso like 4 or 5 times in a way that's
it's hard to watch.
A little embarrassing.
That's not Biuk's fault though. Biuk should not be the one back there.
I mean, you got to put together a little bit, like kick him in the knee at least. Like, don't let him like split the double. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that like you got to be like the best defensive player ever, but if we're asking those guys to press a little bit and you're getting worked around by the 10, like that's not like super great. You know what I mean? But I think that like,
are we switching?
What? No.
Are we switching positions on?
I'm the heel, man. Like as soon as you guys like him, I gotta go back to the other. Okay, all right. Let me fully transition to heel. My sad foot is that Aaron Long is on the team, and that we signed him for money. Yeah, I thought when we first signed him, I was like, oh, it's nice that we're like giving retiring players one last shot to like be on the team, and maybe they'll pay us a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll come to my house and give me a 10. The idea that guy was MLS Player of the Year is nonsensical. Like one of the worst players. I mean, also Kirk Kinsey, the Counter Press podcast, says this all the time. So I'm not the only person who has this very unique insight via Aaron Long. But like, he can't pass out of the back. Like that whole first 30 minutes, like those guys, like Maldonado and Long, cannot pass out of the back whatsoever. And like Aaron Long is getting a lot of money. Like Aaron Long's getting like I think $1 million plus on like whatever our salary cap is. And like obviously it's not as bad as missing on a DP, but like. That money can go somewhere else. You know what I mean? And we have who do we have now? We have Fall, we have Keeley, we have Murillo, we have Maldonado, and we have Aaron Long. Is Aaron Long seem like the guy who's making the most money out of those 5 people?
To push back a little bit, I do think that our friends at Counter
Press. Hold on. Let's pin this now. Let me just say in 3 months when you come back to me being right that we can all say this exactly was the moment when Travis went full.
Here's what I'll say. Counter Press, whenever I listen to them, they know tactics probably better than anyone else who has a podcast about LAFC. They're very, very smart about this stuff. So if you're curious about tactics, that's the podcast you should listen to. They make me feel like a true idiot when I'm listening to them. But Aaron Long, I did not like for the majority, or I would say the start of the season. And I think as we've gotten more tired and more dinged up, he was consistent in his ability to not completely fuck up. And I will say that he won me over midway through the season. And I think he's been pretty good for the last couple games, and he's been gone. And this is his first day back. And if we're going to give Mamadou Fall the benefit of the doubt after his first game back, I think
who gave him the benefit of the doubt?
You just said you'd rather. No. You'd rather
you guys
have
came
Mamadou
back
Fall,
his first,
motherfucker. You
his
just
first
said you'd
game
rather have
back.
it.
His first game back, you guys did this whole thing where he fell. We all did puns about Mamadou Fall. You ever consider he just fucking flew 16 hours? He's like a 20-year-old kid. You guys are like killing him.
We did actually explicitly say.
Yeah,
we did actually explicitly say that he gets a benefit of the doubt game.
Yeah, you're
in
real.
That's in that podcast. Not that you bothered to listen more than 5 minutes in, but
you're right. You're right. Guy who bought the shirt and has a nickname doesn't listen to the podcast for sure. You guys got me. I'm a fair weather fan. I'd be happier if I was. Listen, here's the thing, right?
You listening and driving and be like, "You're fucking wrong. You're fucking wrong."
My wife will occasionally, I'll be like doing something else, listening to the podcast. She's like, "Why are you mad?" And I'm like, "These fucking idiots keep talking about Stipe Biuk." Okay, but here's the thing about Aaron Long is it's an opportunity cost, right? That like when we needed a third, fourth outside back, we don't have them. That's why in the biggest game of our season, well, maybe not the biggest, but the biggest to me personally, because I had to go to it and we all just sit in traffic for 3 hours to get in and out of that place. We have an 18-year-old kid who doesn't play right back, playing right back. That's the issue, right? Is that we don't have that outside back. We don't have a striker. And if we had Aaron Long's money and put it somewhere else, I kind of can't believe that we couldn't be a better team than we were. Like that's what I feel frustrated by. Not that he's abysmal, but like he's not worth the money, and we're on a salary cap. We only have so much money to spend, and we spend it on this guy. And
I think Aaron Long he was brought in because Mamadou Fall was gone. And I think in a perfect world, Mamadou Fall is going to get his sea legs back. Murillo, who I think is back in training, I saw, will be able to come back and join Mamadou Fall, and those will be our center backs for the majority of the rest of the season. That's a perfect world.
We're in a weird spot where like we have this an insane amount of depth on defense on the roster and nothing on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like so many guys are injured or in this weird situation. Like we haven't even mentioned Valencia yet. Yeah, we haven't.
Valencia is who I saw training.
Oh, maybe okay. Not to mention Eddie Segura is supposedly still alive,
and
is on the roster.
Ryan Hollingshead failed to solve a bridge trolls riddle and is now cursed to have forgotten to play soccer.
He's an all-star. He's an MLS all-star. They kept saying that on the broadcast, and I couldn't believe it. Like that's the out of anybody on our team, like that's the guy that you're like. That was the all-star.
He was a coach's pick, though.
Okay.
Isn't that
I'm sure they haven't watched. That was from last year. He should have gotten it.
That was Wayne Rooney just being like, let's just bring Hollingshead on.
Perhaps this is portending bad things for Wayne Rooney's coaching career that he picked Ryan Hollingshead to be an all-star.
It's funny that Wayne Rooney knows who Ryan Hollingshead is. It's just funny we live in that.
Is funny.
We're about to live in a world where Lionel Messi knows the name Nathan Ordaz.
It is spectacular. There's nothing better to me. Like you see like Messi doing like he's in Publix or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like just the idea of like Messi going to Allianz Field and just playing in Minnesota. It's like
Messi playing at Yankee Stadium is the funniest thing. I can't wait for Messi to play.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Good, man. I wonder if legitimately if he refuses to play on turf, that they just actually start tearing those turf fields out. Like if he really says I'm not going to do it, you got to imagine that like Seattle finally makes the move to actually put in grass. But
it would, they would lose so much money if there's a world in which he doesn't play in the game in LA. I don't want to upset everyone, but there's some tournament, I believe, in Central or South America that he might be called up for. around the same time that the game is in LA. So I don't want to bring everyone down, but there's a world in which we don't get to see them. So sell those tickets now if you're planning on selling them.
Yeah, sell them to me, man, for like half what they're offered right now. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Roll the dice on seeing a generational player. That's what you should do. Absolutely.
Hey, Jeff, any happy or sad foots? I know it's not going to be a smart one, but we have to ask everyone.
I don't. Yeah, that was the first good joke you made on a podcast. I don't have anything to say. My happy foot is that they're actually going to pursue Chucky Lozano, which is like very, very, very exciting.
Do you think that they are?
I mean, the guy was on a podcast and pled the fifth about their desire to sign Chucky. I don't know if he's going to come in, but like the idea that that's the caliber of player that they're targeting with this DP spot makes me very happy, because that whole thing that we had the Max tweet about, like, who knows if we're going to sign anybody, and that was a real genuine bummer. You know what I mean? So the idea that Lozano is on the table is very exciting. Lozano's 28. It's the same age that Vela came over in. He's a Mexican national team player. We have a high Latino fan base, high Mexican fan base. That's really exciting. I think that he would do a lot to, I mean, although he is a winger, right? So you're kind of in the same position where you have 80 wingers and no striker. But I think that upgrade in talent over, say, pick a winger.
The only thing I'll say is I do think a lot of media outlets have picked up a man saying, I'm not going to talk about it, and have run with it as if we're getting him or trying to get him. And I would say if I'm someone who is, you could be interested in a player and not want to say anything on the record because people are going to run with it. And now you deciding not to say anything has made everyone believe you're actually doing it. I would love for it to be the case. I think it would be an incredible signing. Obviously, like, to bring in someone in their prime who would sell a lot of jerseys and bring in a lot of fans is very exciting. But I will say all he said was, I plead the fifth. That's what, and then it got aggregated to fucking all hell.
But
and that's sports media.
There was a little Twitter stuff before that. So I think like that's the first time somebody from LAFC.
I'm just trying to be Tom Bogert's my good friend. So I'm just trying to think like Tom Bogert, my close personal friend, Tom Bogert.
Yeah.
What a podcast, guys. The only reason I'll say like I believe that one more than Suarez. Like Suarez would be the example, right? Where like everybody said, oh, they're gonna go get Suarez, or whatever. But I think because like he's about the age that you're gonna sign another deal, he's probably not gonna get another big contract in Europe. He is like the Mexican guy, like Vela was. Like, we do seem to have a real desire to have somebody like that around. I believe that pursuit more because I understand it fully from the LAFC side. It's not an aging, over-the-hill 34-year-old guy, like this old Argentinian guy Miami just signed. You know what I mean? So I believe it. Right. My sad foot. Yeah, my sad foot is that apparently quick restarts must have killed our goalie's wife and children, because there's no other explanation for why we refused to start the ball quickly. We did it one time and we got this amazing thing off of it. The most insane thing that drives me absolutely crazy about McCarthy is that he grabs the ball and just hangs out for 4 or 5 seconds when we have one of the best transition offenses in the league, right? Like, you throw that ball to Bouanga, something might happen, throw it to Biuk. That's his bread and butter, is to take it that way. And instead he's
been doing it all season. We've been saying it all season. He's been doing it all season. Biuk.
But why is that possible? Like, why is no goalkeeper coach being like, hey man, I know you do this every game, but like, what if you didn't? Like, do they not trust him to do it? Like, I mean, I get why you don't want to have him kick the ball that much because he's not that great with his feet, but like, he can throw it. Like, that's legal. Like, if you have the ball in your hands, I don't know if he knows this actually. You can throw it. You're allowed to throw it to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Not only are you insulting us, you're insulting John McCarthy's intelligence. And I think if you look at John McCarthy, you could tell very smart man.
That's 100 times meaner than what I said. That's way meaner. Do the accent, Travis. Do the Philly accent. See what happens.
Jean,
don't walk into this trap, Travis. Don't do it.
My sister lived in Philly 15 years ago. I can't be offensive.
Who do you know that lived in Croatia?
Stipe, my close personal friend. All
right,
Jeff, thank you so much. Thank you so much for always calling in, joining us on a Saturday, like a true loser. As always, very, very fun to have you here. It means a lot that you like us so much and agree with us. You get the last word.
I give you guys money. That's the wild thing. I pay you. You know what I mean? Every month I give you money.
He must have gotten cut off. Oh my god, so weird.
We were going through a tunnel. He might have also been going through a tunnel. Jeff, if you're still listening, we do very much appreciate your support and love having you on. Genuinely,
and you've proven yourself to be smarter than us on multiple occasions. So thank you.
Which is why sometimes you can't just take over the show entirely, or else everyone's gonna notice.
Quickly, a couple more happy foot, sad foot, or just some things that were in my notes that I wanted to say. The first note I wrote, I don't think it lasted for the rest of the game. I said defense and midfield look atrocious. We just looked a step slow for the first 30 minutes.
I had the same note, and also made another note that it didn't last all game. They did eventually lock it down, but that was a weird,
Minnesota looked, I was like, I want to watch this Minnesota team. This is a fun team to watch. They were really, really fun to watch.
They were.
Palacios, that wasn't a PK. I saw a few people on Twitter that were upset that we didn't get the PK. He stepped into the tackle. The ball was nowhere near him. We shouldn't be upset. And I want to say one thing. I like when things are dumb and lame, as I always say. I like the weird name for our podcast. I like that they release a falcon before the game. I like that they sing Wonderwall after they win. However, I found out that Minnesota sings Wonderwall after they win and also sings Mr. Brightside at halftime. And that makes Wonderwall way less cool to me, because that all you're doing now is playing the two songs that like a DJ puts on when no one's excited at a bar, and those everyone will sing along. Like if it's a bar in Boston where a bunch of drunk Mr. Brightside, I've said this before, Mr. Brightside is millennial Don't Stop Believing. And I like it. I didn't know when it happened, but now when you play Mr. Brightside in a bar, everyone sings it as if I would have never guessed in a million years that would be a bar sing-along anthem. But the fact that they do the two most popular college sophomore guitar songs is quite embarrassing. I like Wonderwall. I wish they didn't do Brightside.
Called the Wonderwall too?
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, that's not. Is it just named after Oasis?
So there's a long story. I don't remember specifically what it was, but I believe it was their coach the first season. There's a famous clip of them singing Wonderwall after they won a game. And when the coach came in, they made it a tradition to sing it to this coach. And then they just took it on as I believe that's the story.
That's some Ted Lasso shit right there.
Yeah, that's Minnesota for you. And we love Ted Lasso.
We've gained so much leverage off after this 1-1 draw to just trash Minnesota.
I love the city of Minneapolis. I of all the places I went on tour when I worked at Pod Save America, Minneapolis was maybe in my top 4 cities. I loved Minneapolis.
Well,
any sad foot?
I do think that the commentator went a little overboard on how much he could not get enough of how great the environment was in that stadium. I was not particularly impressed.
Just like
maybe if he wasn't that into it, I would be like, this is cool.
It was really weird to hear him really talk it up, and then you can hear it on the broadcast. You're like, that's fine.
They're just kind of standing there.
Yeah, every time there's a corner kick, they spin their scarves. Okay, cool.
I don't know. We're spoiled, I guess.
Yes, we're very. My sad foot was Denny Bouanga's finishing. His shot is shot, I might even say. He had 2 really good opportunities and he didn't finish.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the point of the podcast where Travis is disappointed in Denny Bouanga, and I defend him for no reason. So here I go. I really don't think he ended up he just ended up with a lot of dead ends. Like he didn't actually have any. I don't think he had any good chances. I think there were a couple.
Was a good at the end of the game.
Yeah. There was one at the end of the game he really shanked. But I think he'll shoot the ball when he doesn't have a shot or a pass, instead of pause and regroup. Like there was one time when Stipe got a cross. I think it was from Vela. Maybe it was actually Bouanga. But Stipe had nothing, and so he just kept it and then set a new thing up. And I thought that was a great move. Bouanga never does that. He'll be like, I have nothing. Okay, well, I might as well shoot. And so that's why we see all these shots from him.
Yeah, it's very. I don't know. There was a header that he sent wide that at the beginning of the season he would have never missed, and there was another, I believe, transition opportunity he had that just looked like he flubbed it. And he's done he's whiffed a few in the box in the last couple of weeks, and I think that undeniable energy that we've said around him has caught up with all these numbers of games. And I don't think he's gone forever. I think after these 2 weeks, he's going to be back to himself. I think he really needs this time off because as we've been rotating everyone else on the team, I think Bouanga sat maybe one game. He's been playing at least 60 minutes, if not 70 minutes every single game. Most games he plays 90 minutes. So of everybody who needs the rest, I would say it's Denny Bouanga.
Yep, that's fair. This is the point of the podcast where I say, okay, you're right.
I'm gonna say a couple more happy foots and sad foots because I got a dinner reservation, Darren. It's Saturday night. I'm not like these losers in the chat. Yeah. I got things to do.
There's a party going on. This is a backdrop that I put up because there's just a rager going on right behind me here.
Denny, Jeff Talk is going to launch a podcast and everyone's just going to go to him. Like, we like him more.
As they should.
The Vela goal was beautiful. We didn't talk about it, but the Stipe pass to Vela and then Vela's going around.
Baby. He's still back.
He's made a few goals recently that I'm like, that's the guy, man. That's the fucking guy. And they're beautiful. They're beautiful. This isn't really a sad foot, but I put it in my sad foot column. Opoku scored in his first game for Montreal. And in a game where we really needed to score. It's a bummer that Chicho keeps scoring and Opoku keeps scoring. I'm very happy that he's found success in Montreal, but it's, when I'm happy in the way that when an ex-girlfriend gets married, you're like, I'm happy for them, but you're not really happy for them. And sad foot was the defense the first 45 minutes of the game.
That was, we really were like water. They just did whatever they wanted for a good while there. That was very strange, I think. Mm-hmm. We did eventually lock it down. I think my happy foots and sad foots have all been said. I do think toward the end of the match, we locked it down on defense in a way that was actually started to be pretty impressive. McCarthy had besides the great point that Jeff made, I'll say, McCarthy made some great saves, made some saves he shouldn't have had to make, but they had a lot of chances on us. We got lucky a few times for sure and shouldn't have had to get lucky, but we also found a way to get the ball out of there more times than they needed to, I'm sure.
Yeah. John McCarthy was challenged way more than he needed to be challenged. And he made some that save early in the game where it was almost drifting over him and he had to paw it over the crossbar was really cool. And he made a couple of saves.
Point blank range too.
Yeah. He made a couple of saves on corners that were well timed. He had a really, really strong game despite Jeff Talk disliking him.
I just think he's just really intelligent. He's really academically intelligent. Just to backpedal from before. Officially as a podcast.
Jason just commented Opoku scored tonight. That's what we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes, Jason. That's what we're talking about. You're commenting in the chat as we talk about the thing that you wrote in the chat, Jason. I like you, Jason, but you're in the YouTube. You're in the
Travis,
YouTube.
Travis, calm down, Travis.
Ooh, and with an assist by Bryce Duke, the LAFC tentacles.
Oh my God! What's with every team has a former LAFC duo scoring all the goals in the MLS right now? Who's paired with Chicho at RSL?
Danny Musovski.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, come on. I was even beyond the LAFC diaspora. It is very frustrating to see.
Beautiful use of diaspora.
Thank you so much. It is so frustrating to see. I mean, Pookie is a great example. It's so frustrating to everywhere we go, everyone else has figured out the 9. Everyone else is and it's so funny because it seems like so many other teams also had the same. Everyone's like, oh, the missing piece was just the one striker, and we found him. Yeah. What about you guys? We're I don't know.
One thing I'll say that Tom Bogert pointed out that does give me hope is LAFC knows what they want and they're not going to take bad deals. And he was they've gotten the opportunity to take bad deals for players that maybe aren't going to give it their all here. And they've chosen to not take them. And so I trust when we do find someone, it's someone that is coming for the right reasons and that wants to give it their all. Unfortunately, Darren, I do have to go. I think this is a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we have covered everything. I will say shout out to the Patreon chat. Was very lively today. It was a lot of fun. The chat here's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for sticking around and for all the support. The members only scarf sold out today.
Oh yeah. Morning, and we launched a beautiful new T-shirt called I Never Doubted Stipe Biuk.
Check out the shirt. But seriously, thank you so much for all the
yeah.
support and for continuing to make this so fun for us. And it's all of you guys that make it fun for you guys. We don't have to do much. You guys hanging out is what makes it fun.
Uproar pointing out that we stop immediately at 35 minutes every time we do this.
All right. Well, I mean, you can stop at 35 minutes too if you want.
But genuinely, it means a lot. Like, you know, I tweeted this out, but like, it means a lot that we've had all of your support and you keep hanging out with us after every game. And you know, if you can't afford to join the Patreon to buy merch, we still love having you around. So thank you for being here. And for those of you who have been able to financially support us to help us keep making this, the fact that we were able to sell out of 50 custom scarves is so rad. And like we said, we're not going to make more of those. So you got the founding ones. We might make more scarves in the future, but you got the first run, baby. You can sell those on eBay when this podcast is sold to Spotify for $4 billion.
But at that point, Spotify will be like a very different thing. It's going to be like, you know, they're going to be making cereal or something. So it'll be a strange deal.
We're about to be on 2 weeks of break. So we're going to figure out exactly how we're going to do with this podcast. You will be hearing for us, but it won't be in the same, you know, we have 2 weeks off. So we're not going away, but we won't be doing the same thing for the next 2 weeks. But we are so happy to have spent the first half of the season with you. And we'll see you, babies, in the knockout round of the League's Cup.
Oh,
I love you. Bye.
I love you. I love you. Bye.